Well, here we go. First run of the season. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Talon and I make new videos every single week. So if you like what you see here, consider clicking subscribe. And we are starting the skiing season today. It's honestly a little bit early for me to come up here into the Colorado mountains because the snow, of course, is not going to be great. It's currently the very beginning of December, and I decided I'm going to be traveling around the holidays on the East Coast. I might as well get some skiing in while I can. So I loaded up the van, hopped in here for the day, and I'm just coming out to ride by myself. I don't really have any friends who have the freedom to get out and enjoy the mountains during the week like I do. So I'm thankful for that, but I do wish I had some buds here to ride with. Now, it's been a little while since I showed you guys my Storyteller van. I have updated a few things, and it's freezing cold out here. So let me give you a quick update on the van and also my new skiing setup. I'm going to set all that stuff up in the warmth. Now, the first thing that you guys may notice is up here in the front. I honestly forgot that I even did this mod until I was driving my van home the other night. I was actually up here trying to camp and couldn't find a spot. That's a story for later in this video, but I did actually end up upgrading my headlights to these right here from Alpharex. Now, the stock headlights on this van were actually pretty decent. They were the LED versions, but now these are even brighter. They have some pretty cool animations here, and I can show you guys a little bit more about that when it is nighttime. But yeah, really cool improvement. I think it makes the van look a little bit more mean up front, and I'm a big fan of them. Now, one of the main reasons I chose my van for this trip is because of the tires, the Firestone Destination XTs. These are still the same tires that have been on the van when I took it up to Alaska. I was in the van for about an entire month, a little bit more than a whole month already this year, which is why you haven't seen it on the channel a whole lot. I've been trying to divide my time with the other vehicles, but the Firestone XTs, these are a 3-peak mountain snowflake rated tire. So this is probably the best performing snow tire that I have on any of my vehicles. Now, Firestone is actually running a kind of a promotion for the entire month of December. So if you guys want to try anything like the XTs, the ATs, or the MTs, the MT2s like I have on my trucks, they're offering $60 off if you check out the link, which I will leave in the description down below. I really don't do like promo stuff like that often, but I figured it's a really good tire. I've been enjoying it, and I have a ton of miles on these guys, and they still have a lot of life left in them. Now, up inside the van here, it is absolutely freezing. I haven't really highlighted this much in a video other than when I took the Sauron out, but I do have a brand new system back here from Canyon Adventure Vans. I installed this at the Evergreen Adventure Van Expo, and it is their whole GSS, but this time it's the Pro Series. So a little bit of a different storage setup back here. I now have a closet and some kind of like bigger, kind of stretchy dump bins here with, it's almost like a bungee cord across it, which makes storing gear like ski boots a little bit easier. Now, I haven't even really had the chance to like organize all this stuff yet, but once I am out in the van doing a little bit of a longer trip, I will definitely dial all of this storage in back here, because there is actually a lot more space instead of the 80/20. It's now all basically bent aluminum. I even have some moto stuff down here. I still have my motorcycle helmet, some spare clothing, all kinds of accessories and gear. So I'll bring you guys a full update video on that if you want it once I get that thing loaded up. Now the van is currently not winterized. I still have about 50% in my water tank right now, which is like 20 gallons. I also showered the other week when I was out in Utah in the van, and I have some water in the gray tank too. So that's another reason I'm driving the van. It's a good idea in the winter to have the heater going. That way that stuff doesn't freeze. And instead of winterizing the van while I'm away from it this winter, I think what I'm going to do is actually store it inside. Keep it kind of climate controlled in a place where the water in the van is not going to freeze. That way I don't have to deal with winterizing it, which honestly isn't very hard. But I just want to have the van ready to go at all times. So if I want to take it out on a quick trip, I don't have to de-winterize it, fill it back up with water. I'm just going to kind of leave everything in it how it is. And yeah, hopefully I'll keep this thing inside. The last time I put these ski boots on was in Lake Tahoe back in March, and not going to lie, they're feeling pretty tight. Really need to break them in today. I'm really just going to try to get my legs back under myself, and hopefully I'll get a few days of riding in before I'm traveling for the holidays. Once I make it back to Colorado, it will be the end of January, and we will be in full-blown ski season then. Oh man, these are tight. So hopefully by that point, more of my friends will be able to come out and ride, and we will definitely have some better snow. So I'm going to finish getting ready. The lift's open in about 2 minutes. So gondola is already running. I'm going to go out and ride Keystone all by myself today. Alright guys, we're out here, about to make our first run, but new skiboard setup for the year. These boards are very similar to ones that I've ridden in the past. If you haven't heard of these at all, RVL8 Skiboards, and these are the Playmakers with my new kind of collab graphic with them. If you've never heard of skiboards at all, this is what they are. Short, fat, wide, kind of good for a little bit of everything, especially having a ton of fun. And the Playmakers, for some quick specs, 107 centimeters long. They have a really wide underfoot, symmetrical tip and tail on here, and the Playmakers are zero camber and rocker. You have about 20 centimeters of rocker, so it kind of rides like a really short edge under your foot. They have a 4x4 binding setup for a non-release binding, running RVL8 receptors on here, a new gold version, and this is a 4x4 plus 2, so you can actually set the binding back. In the board itself, there's extra inserts in there, so if you want to ride these things in some deeper powder, which we will not be having today, you can do that. Now these boards are brand new, fresh out of the box. I just set them up. I'm hoping I have them adjusted for my boots correctly, because I don't have any tools with me. So generally it will take a couple of laps until I can get these things really dialed in, but it's pretty much the same board that I've been riding for the past couple of years, and I'm stoked to have this new graphic. It's got a spaceman with a skull inside of there. They're rad. Shout out to RVL8. If you guys are interested in these, I got a ton of videos here on the channel, and I will also leave a discount code down below if you want to pick up a set for your own and give skiboarding a shot. Well, here we go. First run of the season. Check, check, check. Is this thing on? Well, it's almost about noon already, and the snow up here is surprisingly pretty decent for early December. Having a good time out here by myself. The new RVL8 Playmakers feel amazing. Even though the edges are really sharp, I'm still able to get a couple laps in the park, and it's going to take a while until I get my park legs back under me, but it feels good. These boards are very stiff as well. So it's pretty interesting because they are 107. They have basically what feels like an even smaller underfoot because they're rockered, zero camber, but you can still really dig these edges in and carve around, which is pretty fun. A lot of people ask me for ski board recommendations, and I'm basically always recommending whatever I'm riding at the time. You really can't go wrong with anything that is 105 plus. You have things like the Revolt, which is kind of a good do-it-all kind of board. If you want something a little bit longer, maybe you're taller or heavier, you could opt for something like the DLPs, which are 110s. Or if you want something a little bit shorter, a little more kind of playful, you have the KTPs, which are 101s, and of course the Playmakers. The Playmaker is my favorite board because it's like a one board quiver. I can use these for anything when I go out to Tahoe later this season. I'm hoping we have some really good POW days, and I'll just be riding these boards all the time. If I know it's going to be super POW and maybe we're going to ride the highways, I can even set my bindings back on these. You can do the same thing with the KTPs as well. So a lot of people still kind of hate in the comments whenever I'm posting about skiboarding content, but it's something I enjoy. I've been doing it for a very long time, and I'm honored to be keeping the sport alive. Now, I've been messing around with this new camera setup. I don't know if any of this footage is actually turning out okay, but it is very difficult for me to film myself in the park unless I'm hiking. I have non-release bindings, so hiking with a board setup like this is super time consuming and exhausting. I even have a little tripod stashed away in my jacket pocket, but I don't think I'm going to set up any shots for park stuff. But once I get some friends out here, whether we're riding Keystone, Breckenridge, maybe Vale, Crested Butte, Beaver Creek, I might even go off pass and maybe go to Loveland one of these days. Once I'm out with friends riding again, we'll hopefully get some park montage edits going. At this point, I miss my East Coast RVL8 friends, and hopefully they'll be able to make it out here to Colorado at some point. I think I got just a couple more laps left in me. I'm kind of riding the same thing over and over again, and then I'll probably head down and warm up in the van, have some lunch, and then head back home before the evening traffic sets in. Honestly, though, it's pretty dead. I don't think there will be much traffic, so that is the benefit of riding midweek. Alright guys, done riding for the day already, and I've got a bone to pick with Colorado ski resorts. Ski resorts all across the country for that matter. I would be so more stoked to make videos like this all the time, where I could take a vehicle out and camp and do all the fun stuff that I'm into, basically hopping mountain to mountain each day. I would be out for weeks on end if resorts offered overnight parking or like a camping parking lot. And I obviously know why they don't do it. A lot of the resorts are in it for the money, of course, but make like a paid lot overnight. I was actually out here 2 days ago on Monday. It's currently Wednesday, and I was looking for a spot to camp. In the winter time, especially stuff in this area of Colorado, all of the trails are closed or gated. I checked everything on Onyx Off-Road, and the closest place to stay to here was like over an hour away, which isn't even really worth it at that point. I might as well just camp or just come up here and ski, which is what I ended up doing. Now, there are some resorts like indie resorts that allow RV parking and overnight kind of camping style parking, but I think the real issue is that people back in the day ruined it for the rest of us. People would kind of camp out, be a ski bum in a parking lot, and just kind of trash the place. I'm sure there were a ton of issues with cops being involved and alcohol and probably drug use, stuff like that. This is kind of like a party lifestyle, I guess. So people ruined it for everyone nowadays. Like, if you have an RV or if you have a truck camper, if you have a van, there's really no good place to camp around a ski resort, at least in this area. You could kind of get away with it with like an overnight parking lot. I did this 2 years ago, but technically the signs say no camping, so I didn't want to like break the rules, break the law with that. So I ended up just going home on Monday, and then I woke up at 6 a.m. this morning to drive up here. So it's a bummer. I would like to do kind of like a whole kind of ski tour where I can just park my vehicle in a parking lot or find a camp spot nearby, but it is few and far between here in Colorado. A lot of people ask me, they're like, yo, where do you camp when you go ski? The answer is I really don't, but I would love to. So that was just a quick rant that I wanted to kind of get off my chest. Been thinking about it since Monday, and it's a bummer, but I refuse to pay $250, $350, $400 just to get a hotel room in a place like this. These ski resorts get enough of my money as it is. It requires me to eat peanut butter and jellies. So that's all I got for this quick outing, quick little van update. If you guys have any questions or have anything related to skiboarding, let me know in the comments down below. Hopefully I can get some friends to kind of tag along, and maybe I'll go out again next week. Maybe get some actual filming in while we're out riding, but we'll see how it goes. So that's all I got for today. If you guys are new here, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every single week. As always, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.